We're having a heat wave, a tropical heat wave. Oh, I used to be a good tenor and I could even carry a tune, but we are having a heat wave. Here in Toronto, it's unbearably hot, and I was in New York yesterday and it was suffocating and intolerable, and all of it gives credence to that report which emerged last week on the state of the planet, which presumably you read or heard about, which showed that the year 2015 had the highest average global temperature in human history. In fact, it had increased by more than 1 degree centigrade over pre-industrial levels. And you'll remember that at the Paris Climate Conference last December, they said that 2 degrees centigrade was the outer limit, or presumably the planet will then go up in flames. It's also worth noting that we have the highest surface temperature of the oceans that's ever been recorded. And on top of that, and in addition, the sea level rise has never been higher. So now the possibility of the inundation of low-lying coastal regions has become more and more credible. And so you have countries from the Maldives to Bangladesh and all of the small island states beginning to think of moving their populations to higher ground. In the case of the South Pacific, small islands actually have plans to move people to Australia and New Zealand. We are on the cusp of the possibility of tens of millions of environmental refugees. It won't happen in my lifetime. I'll be long gone, but it will happen in yours. And then, in addition to that, we have for the first time the concentration of greenhouse gases exceeding 400 parts per million. Now that's just a figure, but in truth what it means is that the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has never been higher, and all this stuff about the reduction of the use of fossil fuels and the move to renewable energy turns out to be so much poppycock we don't have it under control. And then we learn that the Arctic ice is shrinking and the glaciers are shrinking. We are in a terrifying situation as a planet. And yet the concentration inevitably is on the Olympic Games and Donald Trump and refugees and terrorism, and all of them are worthy of urgency, and some of them, like Trump, are worthy of cosmic derision. But you know, we are marching, eyes closed, into the apocalypse. That was last week. Well, I'm not sure I'll be around over the next week or two. It is the dog days of summer. But on the other hand, today, as I'm recording this, the Security Council is holding the second straw vote on the candidates for Secretary General. And if it turns out that we give special preference to the men again, I may have to come back next week for a spasm of traumatic apoplexy. But that was last week. And I remain Stephen Lewis.